Welcome back to number one Reality Junkie, where I take my reality TV junk and I just dump it right on you. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to this channel. We will be doing recaps of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We are so glad that Salt Lake City is back. Yay! Let's just get down to nitty gritty. This opener, this intro, what are your thoughts on this intro? I don't think I've seen an intro quite like that. It's very producer heavy, very cinematic. You know, it's giving movie trailer type of situation. It was, it was, I mean, it's fine, but ultimately the actual little trailer part that appeared after this opener was very interesting. Some things that I didn't recall seeing in the trailer that they dropped, a few weeks back when, talking about the show's coming back. So the trailer again, or this opener, I keep calling, now I'm gonna call it a trailer because it felt very trailer-ish, trailer-esque, but it definitely was not. But anyway, what are your thoughts on that? I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. And did you like it? Did you like it? So let me know in the comment section below. We start off with Lisa Barlow. Lisa Barlow looks fabulous coming out of the vehicle, the Suburban that everybody always gets courted around in. And she's with her sister-in-law, who I don't recall seeing in any other season. So I believe this may be the first time that we've seen her sister-in-law. Comment below if you guys agree, or if you remember seeing her, or this is the first time, because I don't recall ever seeing her, and I've watched all the Salt Lake City shows. Anyway, she's putting on an event for the girls. It's called Besos, which is so cute. Kisses. It's on Espanol for those that don't know. And it's just like a Valentine's Day event for the girls. Very cute. It's outdoors, which they do everything outside. So, despite it being, brick city meaning super cold, she always is they always do outdoor events, and they got the heaters and fire and all that kind of stuff. So we go back through, we immediately come to her talking about a situation with Whitney, a comment that Whitney made. And I think it's taken a little bit out of context, truth be told. I don't think Whitney was saying anything, bad. And the comment, was Lisa's always been the villain. And her lack of apologies. And in my opinion, I mean, she's not like wrong. Villain, I don't know if she's the villain per se, but as far as, accountability and stuff like that, it's very difficult for Lisa to take accountability. And we've seen that in the past episodes. So this is nothing new. So we get that off the bat, which means, of course, her and Whitney, or Lisa and Whitney, are going to have an issue again. So we're going to see that play out. Anyway, we get back to Besos, and we see the girls arriving. We see Mary is back. Mary Crosby is back, and she is back full time. And she is talking about the relationship between her and Angie K that has blossomed. So I'm not mad at this. When you come back to a show like this, and her being a friend of last year and not really being a part of it, you have to have an ally. So I think she's finally starting to play the game a little bit more than what she's done in the past. You have to have an ally in this. And Angie K is a great ally to have in this particular, to have on your side. Now, Heather arrives, and immediately, Mary is being nice to her, and Heather equates Mary being nice to her with the fact that she is now thinner. So we know that Heather has been taking, I believe, Ozempic, and doesn't make, any apologies for it. Matter of fact, she had like a segment on ABC News. I don't know if you guys saw that. Comment below if you guys saw, and I'll try to find it and put it in the description. But, she had a segment about her journey on Ozempic and her, no apologies for it. So anyway, more girls arrive, and we see one of the new girls, Bronwyn, which is Lisa's friend, and she arrives in this heart cape, situation, and someone calls it a costume, and she's like, no, boo boo, this is not a costume, do not get it twisted, this is haute couture. It's like, I don't think she said that, but she's obviously just like Lisa, a girly like Lisa, a fashionista like Lisa, and she talks about the time that her and Lisa first met and everything like that, and how that interaction went. So we're getting introduced to some new girls, which I think is going to be great for this particular season. They needed this. And so after that, they show a meetup between Bronwyn and Lisa. And Lisa, says that she's over the top. And we get exactly what she means when they cut to this next scene of Bronwyn getting out of her vehicle, walking down the sidewalk. She's in boy shorts is what they're calling them, but frankly, boy shorts isn't underwear, but I'm saying she in the underwear. She's like in a bikini or a bathing suit or flat out underwear with the matching puffer jacket and boots with this little duck purse, which a duck purse is kind of cute. But the whole outfit for me, and it's 37 degrees outside, y'all. I love the editing and the producers on this, because they made sure they want you to know that, yes, it is cold, and yet she is out here wearing boy shorts, as Lisa calls them, and a bra with a jacket and some boots. And it's just like, ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's probably a fashion haute couture. So what do y'all think? Let me know down in the comment section below. And so, Bronwyn calls her style funny chaos, and I couldn't agree more, just based off of her first intro, which is at the Bezos party with this cape that's in the shape of a heart. And then with the outfit that I just described, with the boy shorts and the puffer jacket and the little bra and the jacket. Now, mind you, it's like leopard. It's like a mustard leopard print. Okay. Anyway, and then, then she's talking about her being at Paris Couture Week. Lisa asks, thinks that she's going to be in Milan, and she did not go to Milan. But we get a recap of her, kind of a deep dive into her and who she is, and all about her fashion choices and decisions. She references herself as a Tim Burton character, and she says she feels amazing, and I'm not mad at it. Do you, boo-boo? Do you, boo-boo? Now, she is married, has a family, and she references her dogs. They have 6 dogs, okay? And all of her dogs are named after characters from the TV show House of Cards. Now, I don't know if anyone has watched House of Cards. My fiance is in the political sector, so I've always loved those kinds of shows anyway. And I binge watched it. And I was, in fun note, I was background in an episode on House of Cards as well. So anyway, very interesting that she literally named her dogs after characters on House of Cards. So I thought that was really cute, because I love House of Cards. We learned that she has a teenager, and that her husband is 65. She's 38, and her husband is 65. And she says he's just a little bit older than me. So I figured that was where we were going with this. So anyway, a family of 3. Very cute. I like the addition already. Again, with it being the fashion and everything just really speaks out. Even in the picture of her and her husband, they're wearing matching outfits, indicative of like tropical weather. Looks like they're maybe at a tropical place or maybe on vacation somewhere. I love it. I'm with it. So anyway, we get back to Bezos' party, and Angie K and Bronwyn. So for me, this was funny, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but when Angie K went to, reintroduce herself. When Angie K went to reintroduce herself to Bronwyn, the way she grabbed her her cape jacket thingamajig, like, it was just so funny how she squeezed it. And she was like, oh my gosh, I love this. What an entrance. But the way she grabs it, to me, is just so hilarious. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. Did y'all see her, the way she it's like she squeezed it like it was a pillow or something. Y'all let me know if y'all saw that. Okay, so anyway, Meredith comes in with her assistant or friend. Someone said assistant, but then in the caption it said friend. And so they come in, greet everyone, and someone brings up, where's Whitney? So we cut to Whitney, and she is en route, and she is saying how, she's not as excited to come to this particular event, and she's with her friend, and saying that, it's been, a little tense between some of the girls. She doesn't feel like it's a safe space with Lisa right now. And then they flash back to the reunion, because she mentions in her confessional that there hadn't been a lot of resolve, even though she's had a great 6 months since the reunion. There hasn't been a lot of resolve between her and the girls. So her going to this event is just going to be a little touchy for her. Now, Whitney Rose, I love her. She responded to my Twitter comment before. I just love her energy. And so after this recap of the reunion and everything, she mentions there's been a lot of distance, and especially from Lisa. So she's very surprised as to her even being invited to this particular event, in which we understand. And then we cut to Lisa saying she actually showed up. Of course she's going to show up, Lisa. Like, number one, it's her paycheck. But number two, you invited her, So I think if you didn't want her to show up, then don't invite her. Now, as Whitney comes in, she's greeting some of the other girls, but she does not greet Lisa, which irritates Lisa. And, she basically says that she has bad manners. And that she'll figure that out later. And in which, if you're invited to an event, even if the person that invited you, y'all are not cool, or you don't really speak to like that, you still make an effort to go and talk to them. Don't just show up at someone's event and not speak. That is kind of rude. So I do agree with her in that respect. And let me just say, I love how each girl is like, we get to see some of their other friends, because these are like their real friends. These castmates, they kind of get put together. They may know each other around town and all of that. I believe, Lisa and Meredith were actually friends. They knew each other for a long time. And of course, Whitney and Heather. But a lot of times they're put together in this, and they maybe know of each other, or maybe have seen each other just, in passing. So to see the girls actually bring their actual friends to this event, I do love that. And I wish that we could do this more. Brittany is with Heather and introduced as Heather's friend. And we learned that Brittany is dating, or just got finished dating, whatever, off and on relationship with an Osmond. Now, the Osmonds are like the holy grail of Mormonism. They were, so Donnie and Marie Osmond, you guys have to look them up, because this is even before my time, as far as, knowing the Osmonds and watching them and all that kind of stuff. I just know of them, because just like later, some of the later things that they've done. But she's got a confessional, so she's obviously one of the new girls in the cast. And I love that she has a connection to Heather. And I love that she's got a connection to a prestigious family, the Osmonds. Now, what she does say is that they've only been dating for 8 months, and they've broken up like 16 times. And that to me screams toxic. Like 16 times in 8 months. Are you for real? That's like twice a month. You're breaking up twice a month. And of course, these are women of particular ages. So it's like, really? To me, I need more of a backstory to this. So I'd be curious to hear more of the story when it comes to Brittany. And so I just love this, because this event might as well be called the compliment event. Everyone is going through, well, I love your dress. I love your coat. I love your shoes. I love this. Like, everyone is commenting, like overly commenting on their outfits and everything, which if it's genuine, I love it. But if it's not, then it's just like, just don't even say anything at all, Also, we get a clip of Heather being, of course, the champion of Ozempic that she is. Someone commented on Heather looking nice and svelte, and she's like, Ozempic, baby. Thank goodness for modern medicine. Boom. No comment. So we see Mary and Bronwyn getting to know each other. Of course, Mary comments on her jacket and says she loves her jacket. And then Bronwyn says, I love yours. I have the same one as well. So they also have, they obviously have some fashion similarities when it comes to, the couture and, just fun fashions. And here we go. All right. So this is where we get to it. So Brittany, who we just met, she's just, getting to know everyone. She comes over to talk to Mary and Bronwyn, who are, just getting to know each other as well. And she sits down and she says, "I love your costume," to Bronwyn, which, ooh, it set Bronwyn off. You can tell that she is like, wait a minute, this is not a costume. This is couture, baby. This is fashion. And Mary has to kind of check her in Mary way. But of course, in Mary's confessional, Mary's favorite line, "Who is this?" Are you guys happy to see Mary back on? Oh man, and I asked that because only Mary could say that her jacket looks like a German Shepherd coat. Like, Mary gonna come with the reads. She's gonna come with the insults. Sometimes they're over the top and too much, but in this respect, I think it's obviously playful. And of course, give up to the cameraman who's gonna zoom in on her jacket. Now we already know she mentioned that the jacket that she's wearing was her grandmother's fur, and it's 150 years old. So it's an older fur. But the fact that, no one, like Mary doesn't know that at this point in time, but the fact that she calls it a German Shepherd coat, and then you get this pan to the coat and it's like a zoom in, and I'm just like, I definitely laughed at that. And I hope that, we get some more funny moments from her, where it's not talking about someone's, body or their looks or their, whatever the case is. But clothing, I mean, you can look, she called the girl's jacket a costume, so she should be prepared for the comebacks on that. So, Bronwyn lays it out for her. She's like, look, this jacket is not a costume. This is fashion. It is Saint Laurent. This is Saint Laurent, a $15,000 jacket. There's only 3 of them, and I have one of them, baby. So check that, okay? Checkmate, boo. She broke it down saying that Rihanna has one, and there's one in the museum. Boom. Okay, don't play with me. So after that, then Mary kind of steps in and she's talking about how, in her office, she's got a bunch of clothes and she grew up with 5 siblings and there was like never enough. So now she overindulges, and Brittany uses the words like a hoarder. And Bronwyn was like, whoa, and Mary had, checked her in Mary's way. And Bronwyn's like, we got to get this girl a thesaurus. Like, Brittany's just coming with it, like, not realizing anything. It's like she probably feels in this moment like, dang, I'm just trying to have a conversation. Everything I'm saying is being taken to the next level, when I'm just trying to have a conversation. So this whole, oh man, this is funny because, Brittany then begins to talk about her story. She also has 5 siblings and she grew up poor. And she says, I grew up poor too. And Mary said, well, I didn't grow up poor. And Brittany's like, well, I did, and she was like, she used to have to hide stuff in her purse, from her siblings. And Mary is just not feeling that. And she gets up and walks away. She's like, I gotta go. Bye. So now we go to Meredith, and, Heather asks if her and Whitney have talked at this event. Meredith says no. And so we go back in time to a conversation between Heather and Meredith. And Meredith is healing from a breast reduction surgery. She has a condition where her tissue continues to grow, and this is her 3rd time having to do this. So to me, it just seems like, to have to opt to have surgery, to me, in such an invasive surgery, anytime you have to cut yourself open, in my opinion, is invasive. It could be like a basic surgery. It's still invasive. You got to cut someone open. So for her to have this surgery for the 3rd time, and it to me is wild. We also get how she feels. She doesn't know where she stands with the girls based off of how things ended in Bermuda. There was and they flash back to last season. Of course, they flash back to Monica Garcia and just all the claims that, that were made by Monica, and how, because there were bigger things to deal with than her situation. She felt like her stuff did not get addressed at the reunion last year. So she's kind of like in this weird place. Also, she feels that Whitney is stepping on her toes because Whitney now has a bath bomb and she's launched a jewelry line, which Whitney has a skincare line she launched out a while ago. So, whatever. She just feels like she's constantly stepping on her toes, and it's hurtful. And to me, it's really not that serious. But to Meredith Marks and the rumors, it's hurtful for her. So, and I want to acknowledge her feelings. And now, just in her defense, real quick, everyone does know that the bath is her thing. And she mentions that, she's constantly in the bath, in the bathtub, soaking in the bathtub. And so we've seen multiple scenes of her that she does her scenes while in the bathtub. So that's her thing. So that is part of her brand. So I can understand what she means, where she feels like, why Whitney? Why? I get that from that perspective. And so we get a recap on Lisa and her son on his missionary trip. And he's in Colombia, and she's just ranting and raving about it. So definitely happy to hear that he's doing well and adjusting to this new lifestyle. We then get back to Bronwyn, who mentions that, she grew up in a very Mormon household. All the kids went to BYU, all her brothers and sisters, but she apparently got kicked out. Ooh. So she's a bad Mormon like Heather. So we see Angie K talking with Whitney and Whitney's friend, and we learn that Whitney and her friend, they go back to college, and Angie K knows her friend and was asking, okay, how do you guys know each other? Are you guys the same age? So we're learning a lot about Whitney's friend as well. And during this conversation, Meredith walks up and, Whitney greets her, hello. And right off the bat, she's like, so what's up with the bath bombs? The bath bombs? The bath bombs. The bath bombs? Like, they crack me up with, just some of the reiterating. It's like you have to repeat what someone just said. Like, the bath bombs? The bath bombs? The bath bombs? Anyway. And we get this incredible read from Whitney. Because she's just like, I think you're reading way too much into this, Meredith. It's not that critical. And I just said earlier, I definitely agree with, her just taking it a little too far, with it being hurtful and that you're coming after me. They say imitation is the best form of flattery. I don't think Whitney's even imitating her. I think she's just capitalizing on her brand. And again, skincare, why not also add bath bombs to that, whatever the case is. And so she makes this comment that she feels like Meredith is spending way too much time in the bath because everything is starting to shrivel up and prune. Oh, including her brain. Ouch. Got him. That's why I love Whitney. She is going to come with it just like Mary. So, Whitney comes with it because Whitney's like, look, I've always had bath bombs. I had them on my website. I had your skincare stuff in the store. So you should know that I already had bath bombs. And Meredith's like, well, you didn't have the bath bombs in the store. Yeah, because bath bombs don't go in a jewelry store. Neither does skincare. You know what, Meredith, like you're just right now, it just seems like she's reaching for something that just to have an issue. And it's annoying. It's like a nuisance, and Mary just says, like, why are we arguing about bath bombs? Why are we arguing about bathtubs? This is so stupid. And to me, out of everything that I've seen thus far, with this opening episode for season 5, this is definitely the most ridiculous of them all. And so, anyway, enough about that. We now go to, we finally get Angie K. Angie K is talking about, it's brought up. Let me go back. Everyone sees that Whitney and Meredith are fussing about this stupid topic of bath bombs and bathtubs, as Mary so eloquently put it. And, we get a flashback to Lisa and Angie K with Heather, and Heather conveying to them that Meredith feels like she didn't get any closure last year, that she feels like she was owed an apology and she didn't get any of that. And Angie K begins to say, well, I feel like I was owed an apology. I was accused of being a part of the Greek mafia. I was accused, there were accusations about my husband, my family, which is true. So, she brings that up, and it's like, we all are owed an apology at the end of the day. And a lot of us didn't get anything because of the whole reality Von Teese thing with Monica Garcia. She just really last year's reunion was really all about Monica. all about Monica. And unfortunately, a lot of things from the earlier part of the season did not get addressed or was overshadowed. That stuff that did get addressed was overshadowed by the Monica Garcia of it all. And so while Whitney's trying to get and just make sense of this ridiculous conversation with Meredith, Angie K is like interrupting her. Can I talk to Meredith? Can I please speak to Meredith? Can I talk to Meredith? And so now we get Angie K and Meredith. And we find out, now I understand why she kept trying to interrupt Whitney. Like, I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to her, because she had a moment. She wanted to have her moment. And her moment is with a scroll. She pulls out a scroll and it drops down. And she's like, I understand that you want an apology, Meredith, but I want an apology as well for all these things. Drops the scroll down. Now, everyone is like, does she have a scroll? Yes, she went there. Yes, she had to do it. But I think a lot of it is, it's symbolic. It's symbolic of all the things that have been going on. All the underhanded comments, all of those things, that just the craziest accusations and things about her family, about her, that were just absolutely just vile. Angie is going down this list and Meredith's like, I didn't say that. I did not say that either. She's like, you're going to address every single one of these things and this and that. I mean, to me, this is, this right here, besides the Britney situation, is kind of the highlight of this episode for sure. So they conclude this part, by, Meredith, of course, walks off. I'm not doing this, her little hand gesture. And Angie K rolling the scroll back up to get back in her purse, which I think is also hilarious. Wow. A lot going on. And what the funny part to me was, Heather and Mary commentating on, okay, you had to literally go to the arts and crafts store, find a scroll or get paper, make sure to cut the size and get a stick and glue it up and roll it up and, categorize the grievances, all these things. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, I was thinking, and as soon as I thought it, Mary said it, she's got a lot of time, maybe too much time. So now we're getting ready to go into dinner. Lisa has this little, announcement that we're going to go into dinner. And it's been a lot with, her son Jack being gone. And she's had to really lean on her girlfriends, which is the premise of this dinner, which is very, very sweet. But then she says, I don't love podcasts. And, gestures to Whitney, we have some things we need to work out. And I was just like, of all places, to like this beautiful moment that, seemed very genuine now doesn't seem so genuine to me. And I think that's been the issue with Lisa. It's like, she just comes across sometimes as disingenuine. Also there's things for the show, like you can say that, you can argue that Angie K comes off disingenuine because of the situation. But, in this, I felt like I was really like, I can understand what you mean. You're going through, your first child leaving the home. You only have one child left at the home. You really do have to lean on your friends when you're going through. And so I feel like that message right there in itself was just a beautiful message, but she had to mess it up by trying to call out Whitney, girl. But I get it. We obviously know it's going to get addressed in this particular setting, in this particular dinner. Now, Mary is hot about sitting next to Brittany, talking about, I can't even relax because, I don't want her sticking nothing in my purse. Mary, stop. Like, enough is enough. Stop. And the seating arrangements, we noticed that Heather is sitting next to Lisa. And so now we're at this dinner and we've addressed the seating and all of that. Whitney's getting to know Bronwyn. They have a lot of similarities because they both have older husbands and stepkids that are not too far off in age from them. We find out that Bronwyn's stepson is actually 6 months older than her, and all of this. So it's been a process during for them, just in general, with her being younger, him being older, and the kids, and just the perspective and all of that. Also, we get Angie K and Meredith going back at it because Angie K brings up the scroll. She takes it out of her purse and she's like like waving it around, and her and Meredith go at it. And Meredith, the funny thing to me about this situation is that Meredith thinks that, Angie K addressing the fact that someone should sue her, that Angie K addressing the fact that Meredith stated that someone allegedly stated that someone should sue her and take her home when she's like, I have a daughter, yet you're mad with Whitney over a business, So to me, you're like, dismissing Angie K's, concerns and things like that actually hold more weight than this whole business situation that you're mad at Whitney about. Because to me, again, it just seems so ridiculous about this whole business and being mad about the bath bombs and jewelry and all of that. She's reaching. But this is an actual situation that she can, that should be addressed. Now, we have Bronwyn trying to be the peacemaker, trying to get Angie K to be like, all right, let's just start from here, draw the line, move forward. But Angie K cannot let it go. And Bronwyn mentions multiple times, okay, well, this is a new line. Oh, it's a new line. Hey, fresh start. Poor Bronwyn. She's going to learn. It's hard with these women. And I mean, Angie K is just like going in on Meredith right now, talking about the fact that she rents her home. And I don't want a renter talking about my home. Like, I live in my home. I own my home, all this kind of stuff. I don't want a renter. Like, there's nothing wrong with renting a home. So let's start there. I don't think that she's, downing people who rent places or I rent an apartment. I don't think she's downing people who rent homes. I think just in the context of her talking about someone else's home, I think it's, in conjunction with that. I don't think Angie K would just say something about her because she's a renter. It's because in conjunction with what Meredith allegedly said about her home. Home for home, tit for tat. This is what we deal with these shows. And so now we get to the creme de la creme with Whitney and Lisa. And Lisa, addresses her situation with Whitney being upset about the podcast. And, she says that she felt like the podcast was not about Whitney. The podcast was about her, as in Lisa. And Whitney's response is, well, you're self-absorbed, so of course you would think that's about you. Boom! That gets everything started from there. So this situation with this podcast, to me, I didn't hear the podcast. We only got a clip of what she said, and we didn't get the whole context. And that's the thing with these podcasts and even commentating on things. People take just a snippet and they don't listen to the whole thing in context. However, Lisa's feelings are hurt about what she heard, and her and Whitney begin to go back and forth. So Whitney brings up the fact that, something that Lisa said to someone else in conversation. And Lisa is like, okay, so then it had to be either you, pointing at Angie K, or it had to be you, Heather. Which one, because who brought this to you? She wants to know who brought, instead of addressing what it was said, she wants to know who brought it to her, which to me, Whitney does say this that I think is important to hear, that she has owned everything that she has said about Lisa. And I do believe that to be true. In past seasons, when there's been issues because something that Whitney said, she's acknowledged it, she's owned it, and she's apologized for it. But Whitney's frustration is that she continuously brings it up. If I've owned it and apologized and moved forward, why are you continuing to bring it up? And then that's when the situation comes in. Well, who told you that? Who told you that? Because it had to be either you, and then she points at Angie K, or it had to be you, and she points at Heather Gay. And it's like, which one brought this news back to you? And to me, it's like, let's just deal with the situation. You're worried about who's bringing stuff back to me. Why are you saying this? Let's start there. Then we can talk about why it's coming, or who brought it back, who brought it to me. So we end up learning that it was Angie K. Angie K went and visited Whitney at her new home. It was the very first visitor and guest that she had at the home. And Angie K told her about the talk between Lisa, Angie, and Heather. This is where Heather Gay told them about Meredith being upset. And then obviously Lisa was conveying her issues with Whitney. And so once she finds out that it's Angie K, she is furious. And she finds out that it's Angie K because, frankly, Heather's like, well, I didn't. Heather is like, I ain't trying to mess this up. I did not say anything. I did not talk to Whitney about any of the conversation. So obviously it had to be Angie K, and this infuriates Lisa. And again, we move to the point of you now are, channeling this discussion to Angie K when you need to be talking to Whitney. You said you wanted to address this stuff with Whitney. Now you're bringing in Angie K. Address the stuff with Whitney first. Handle Angie K later. But you can't be mad because y'all all do this. Heather did it when she went back and when she told y'all what Meredith said, so that way Angie K was mad when she heard what Meredith said at that same meeting. Like, you all do it. So, Lisa, trying to jump down Angie K's throat, to me is just proving Whitney's point, which is you don't address anything. You don't take accountability for anything. And, you try to deflect. And this is a means of deflecting because she's not trying to address the situation with Whitney right now. So, this just has gone from bad to worse. Lisa throws a candle or a glass or something. And to me, I think that was just unnecessary. I feel like all of this is just this extra heightened, response. This heightened response is just a lot. Her throwing something is a lot. But the fact that she does bring up how it was brought up that she was, doing things for Jazz tickets, the Jazz basketball team. And it was alleged in the previous season, I believe that was season 3, that she would do things just to get, courtside seats to Jazz basketball game. Anyway, the Jazz basketball team, courtside seats to their games. And so she brings that up. She said, you've lied on me. You've lied on her. You've lied on, she's pointing down the table who people that, allegedly Whitney has lied on. And again, these are things that Whitney has taken accountability for. And these are things that Whitney has repeated that she didn't start, that she's repeated, but she's also taken accountability for those things. But I'm still waiting on Lisa to take accountability for the situation with Whitney and just say, look, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to talk to you. Then just say that versus saying, okay, we can move forward, but then you're still going to keep bringing this stuff up over and over and over again. And at this point, everyone starts to come forward. Well, Whitney, you said this, and Whitney, you said that, and you called Mary this, and you said this about me and my family. You said this about me and my family. And it is like an attack Whitney dinner, I do believe that, yes, they have these feelings, get them out. But, this was initially supposed to be Lisa and Whitney handling the situation. And now it's just gone crazy. Now everyone's addressing everything that Whitney has ever done. And Heather makes a point to say this is what frustrates her about Whitney. She feels like she twists the truth and doesn't say things full on. And, it just turns into a hate Whitney bash session. Whew, and we pretty much end on that. What a great first season. We're ending in where Whitney's getting kicked out of a dinner. And it's so funny because even her getting kicked out, Heather's like, don't leave. And it's like, why would she not leave when y'all are just all attacking her like that? You would leave. Anyone in that position and the shoes on the other foot would totally leave. But anyway, what a great season opener. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is back, baby. I want to know what you guys thought about this very first episode. This was so good to me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be recapping the episodes as they come out every Wednesday, or will be on Thursdays that we'll recap these. And yes, we'll get a chance to talk about it in the comment section. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And look, I just took my reality TV junk and I just dumped it right on you. Peace.